Hey y'all, hey, it's another episode of Bonafide Her podcast featuring the one and only Fidel and Mpanzo.
Appreciate it. Thank you,
Of course,
Ashley.
I had to get some of the athletes up in here. So, of course, I gotta make sure to get all the athletes. I was like, oh. And then I had saw you like show love to the I was like, oh my gosh, Fidel's on the one with Winter. I was like, I gotta make sure to add Fidel on here ASAP. So how you doing today, sir?
I'm blessed. Thank you. How you doing yourself?
Hey, blessed and highly favored. Hello. Hallelujah. Another day, another dollar, another blessing. So
Oh
we in
yeah.
here. So, but let's get to it. So, Fidel, can you tell us your sports story to how you got to where you are?
Oh yeah. I started playing basketball very late. Really didn't play serious basketball until I was like 17, and that was when I came over. I was originally born and slightly raised in Angola, so started really playing basketball. First time I was introduced to basketball, I really hated it at first. I did not want to play basketball. I mean, growing up overseas, soccer is the biggest sport, so I wanted to be a soccer player. So it was funny how it started. Like my uncle that is American came over to my home country, and he was bringing like sports ball to every nephew, and everyone got a soccer ball. When it was my turn, he ran out of soccer ball, so I had to get a basketball, and I really didn't want it. But I kept the ball though. I kept the ball. I was very mad. I never pumped air into it for about a year, and then when I finally did, I pumped air to it to play soccer with it because I really didn't know nothing about basketball. I had never watched any game previous. Like I was like about 14. And I had never watched a basketball game. And then I finally started playing like a little bit in the streets. And then when I was 15, pretty much 14 turning to 15. So I had a couple of friends that already was playing organized basketball, and they offered me for kind of like come try out in their club. So I was like, I'm not too sure about it. I did not know nothing. So I was like, okay, I guess I would just go and try it out. I was terrible. I did not know how to do a layup. Didn't know how to dribble the ball. I really didn't know nothing in basketball. It was super frustrating. And the coach was so hard on me from the jump. So I was like, I don't like this coach. I don't even know anything. He's making me do all this extra stuff. Like, I barely can't even dribble normally. He got me doing all these behind the backs and through the legs. And I'm like, I can't even bounce the ball in its own. So, like, he's doing too much. So I got mad and I gave up in the middle of the training. Like I just went to the bleachers and I went to take a sit. He's like, "You're soft. You're not gonna make it. This and that." I'm like, "Oh, whatever." I didn't give a shit. I was like, "Oh, sorry."
It's all
I
good.
didn't care. I didn't care. I was like, I didn't even want to be here anyway. So I told them like I didn't even want to be here anyway. So then I didn't do basketball organizedly for a minute. Then when I was 15, I gave it a try again, and this time I was better because I played for about a year in the street for a minute, and I was actually finding that I found out I could dunk. So I was like, oh, maybe basketball is not too bad because I think I had to be like 6'4" at the time. So then I got selected to be part of like a boarding school back home, like the one of its kind. So my country has like the best club at the time had like the boarding school from a military academy, so I joined it. And then I was selected as like part of the first basketball group being selected, and then also got selected to be a team captain. I didn't even want it to. And how the clubs work is kind of different compared to how we do here stuff in high school. So in a club, the ages really don't matter. So I could have been 14 and practicing with the pros. So I would be like with the older guys and then go back to my age group for like games and stuff like that. So I had to be a captain of group of guys from 14 to 19, and I was 15 at the time. So I was like, these guys are bigger than me. Like, why would they even listen to me? So I was like, I didn't know how to be. I mean, I've always had some sort of a leadership on me for being like the eldest of four. So I always had to be in watching and mindful of what I do because of my brothers are behind me watching what I do. So I always had to carry myself in certain ways. So previous to that, I didn't really had any other leadership experience. So I didn't know how to talk to someone that was older than me and have them actually listen to me. So it was a challenge at first, but then I found ways towards that. Like definitely not yelling. So I always try to lead by example by doing it and showing them the way and how it can be if they do it the same way I'm doing. So no matter what I do, I always work hard. I've been a grinder my whole life. Starting up, I didn't even knew I had talent. I didn't discover it until very late. So I always been working hard. Since from the beginning, even when I hated it, I still tried. And when I start clicking, I just stuck with it. So then I was there. Then pandemic, COVID hit, so no one could play. Had to be in quarantine for like about 2 years, I think. I didn't get to see my family for about 2 years. So I basically turned 16 during quarantine, and then 17 also during quarantine, and I couldn't go home at all. So, and we weren't doing sports. I mean, we were training, working, practicing, and lifting. And then I hit like my biggest growth spurts from 6'4" to 6'9" in that same year. So it was crazy on my knees. So I couldn't really pick up the ball for about a year after that. So going into like 17, basically when I turned 17, I didn't even play basketball at all. I was so out of shape. My knee pain was crazy because of the growing that I was having. I had a massive spurt. Then because I wasn't playing due to my injuries, they didn't know I was growing. So they thought I was like, I just had tendonitis or something that wasn't healing. So they was okay. They tried to get rid of me basically. They got rid of me, sent me home without being treated. So I was just like, okay, that was like the worst moment in my life because it was like I couldn't play even though I wanted to physically, I couldn't because the pain I had from growing was crazy. And then there was also a bunch of shady corruption stuff in the system in that military organization. So it's like I couldn't really fight it. So I had to go home. And then they wouldn't want like in the clubs, they really is like usually how usually you know when you get drafted, the team that drafts you got like they own the rights to you and stuff like that. So I couldn't just go to any other place if even if I wanted to. I tried, I couldn't. So because I had like a not really like a professional contract, but they have you sign a contract when you're part of like like the academies and stuff like that because they invested in your future. So you cannot just leave whenever you feel like it. So I couldn't. So then I was home. I've always been big on networking since very early. So I used to reach out to people and I happened to find this guy that was kind of like a recruiter. And then he connected me with a school in California, a high school in California. That was my first offers that I had when I was 17 to come here and play. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. I got so hyped and excited. Then a week later, I lost the scholarship with no explanation. So I was like, what the heck just happened? I felt a little, I mean, I got really mad. I was frustrated, but I just kept my head up and kept working, kept knocking doors up. And then I had an offer to play for Combine Academy in North Carolina. And then I took it. That was basically how I got here. And I did not know any English at the time coming in here. Like, I mean, I thought I knew something, but got to the airport, I couldn't understand a damn word they were saying. It's like, oh my goodness, these people speak too fast. I thought I knew something, but it was about good morning, good afternoon, how you doing? That was about it. I couldn't go past that. So then I basically came out here like in the middle, basically the end of the spring semester. So I really didn't get to play the official like a high school season for my junior year. I didn't play freshman, didn't play sophomore, didn't play junior at all. So I basically just came in and played a couple spring like AAU system type in a way, and my full senior year in high school. So like was doing really good for my first time in a while playing basketball. I was average about your double doubles, crazy amount of blocks. I got some attention from D1 schools in the beginning when I just literally got here, but I did not know how to talk. So it's like I feel like if I knew how to talk, I probably could have ended up being in a better situation after high school. But I really didn't understand the system, how everything worked, and didn't know anything I know now about content creation and marketing yourself as well. I mean, I thought all I had to do was waiting on my coaches to do their job because that's what they were doing, and then they would come to me, but I couldn't even talk, so they had to go to my coach. So I even had a Longwood, I think. Longwood was a D1 school. And my coach thought it was a D3, so he told me D3, and I said, F that, I'm not going to no D3. Later on, I find out they were D1. I was like, dude, that's crazy. I literally just told them to, didn't even talk to them because I mean, I didn't even know how to look up those stuff. So it's like I was relying on what they told me. So yeah, so I got injured like going to my senior year, like in the beginning of the season. I really had a bad high ankle sprain that I had to, I mean, I had a, prior to that, I had my official visit with, at the time they were like a top, I mean, think they should still be consistently ranked like top five best jukos in the nation, Chipotle College out of Florida. So I had an
Mm-hmm.
official visit there before I get injured. Then the visit was like in about, it would have been in 3 weeks after I got injured. And I had to sit down for like 8 weeks. So my coaches told them, and they had already paid for everything, my flight and my hotel. So it's like they couldn't cancel for some reason. So they had to try to speed up my recovery process so I could actually make it. So I was thinking I'm just going to like just see the school, meet the people. And I got there. I mean, thank God I brought my shoes and everything. They literally expected me to play on my bad ankle. I was like, yeah, I wasn't too comfortable doing that because I barely could run. So the coach didn't want to understand that. So that I would love to play for that school. It would have been a like a great place to be, super competitive, but that kind of like made me question if I really should have gone there because it's like if a coach is not, he didn't care or seem to care that I was hurt and I couldn't perform at my best and still kind of in a way found ways to push me to doing it. I was like, I felt like that wasn't super cool. So I ended up not getting back in touch with them because they wanted me to come back again December because like, yeah, we think you was not at your best. I was like, my school told you guys that. I did told you guys during the workout that I was not like I can jump really high, but there's like we heard you can jump. Boy. We were trying to see that. I was like, I'm hurt right now. I can't even jump. I can barely run. So it was just a crazy situation. I was just trying to do whatever I could to get a scholarship. And it just didn't work out the way it could have. I could barely move. So but I still worked and didn't make excuses. I tried to do whatever I could. I kept the relationship with the coaching staff. They wanted me to come back December, but I just didn't feel like going back again. So fast forward, I got better. I got back to playing. Was having a really good year. I mean, we were undefeated pretty much for the whole season into the very when it mattered the most, we just lost the first game in the finals. So literally in the playoffs, we lost the first game, and that was a prior to that, I had COVID too. So it was crazy. A lot was happening to me at once, and I had to make it to college. So going to winter break, I got COVID. I don't know how I got it. I think it was probably through church. I was touching a bunch of random people in church, so I don't know who got. So it
Oh.
was like, yes. So I didn't even knew I had COVID. I thought it was just a regular cold. So I got really sick for about a week, and then after a week, I went back to school. And then my two roommates got diagnosed with COVID, and then I was the only one that seemed to be okay. So I had a false negative. I mean, a false positive for some reason because I was the one who gave it to them. On my turn, it turned out I was negative. I didn't have it, so I was like, "Oh, good." Then I went to practice. I could not run for 2 minutes. My heart was literally in so much pain. So that was when they figured out there was something wrong with my heart. So I had to see a cardiologist in a small town hospital, and this guy, they did a bunch of exams, and then the same night he called me and was talking about like, dude, you cannot play basketball again. I was like, wait, what do you mean? I've been playing basketball for a good time, and I've seen a bunch of cardiologists prior to you, and I never heard that I had any anomalies. He was like, yeah, you have an anomaly in your heart, you can't play anymore. And I was just so sad. It was like, that's crazy. I literally came here to play basketball. I got a scholarship for basketball, and I couldn't. At the time, I didn't know what else I would want to do it in high school if basketball wasn't in the picture. So I was super sad about it. And I told the doctor, like, what would happen if I play though? He's like, you could die. I was like, well, I guess I would die happy then. And then he's like, you're crazy. He's like, you're crazy. I need your parents' information number. If you want to play, you would have to get like an open heart surgery or something like that. And I was just so scared because he didn't even prepare me. You know how they be like, hey, are you home? Like, grab a seat.
Yeah.
He got me and jumped straight to the point. I'm like, this is a joke, right? Like, he's like, no, I'm not joking. So I just hung up the phone on the doctor. I was like, yeah, you're crazy. And I still showed up to practice the next day. I didn't tell anything to anyone, but apparently he already got to my trainer and my coach already knew, so they did not let me practice. So I didn't I pretty much lost like 3 months of my high school senior year because of that. So I didn't play for about that long. Then we went to get a second opinion after that. I think the rest and the medication kind of like worked. So I went to this bigger place for sports science. So we had to go there like at 5 a.m. I was there for from 5 a.m. all the way to 7 p.m. just doing a bunch of research, a bunch of exercises. I was afraid of needles at the time. They got a bunch of needles on me. I was so mad. I was so hurt. And
Not needles. Not
yeah,
needles.
I like, wait, is that needle for me? It's like, yeah. My coach was like, you're afraid of needles? Like, nah, I'm not afraid. And then it's like, well, actually, maybe I might be a little bit. And
Oh.
then it's like, whatever happened between here stays between you and I. He's like, all right, I'm not gonna tell the rest of the team. I was like, cool. So then I had to do like a MRI for about 2 hours. That was like the hardest part. And finished everything. I was super like scared to hear that I can't be playing again after doing all that and spending all day. So that I had to do like the bike and they injected some, I think I'm not sure what it was, something on the IV to make me tired so they could see
Mhm.
how my heart works when I'm extremely tired. And I had to do the bike exercise for about, I mean, they said 6 minutes, but I was trying to prove that I could play. So I did 12. And then they was like, okay, you did really good. I wasn't sure if they're just saying that to make me feel good. Then I finally seen the doctor after doing a bunch of analysis. And then he told me that, hey, you got a normal heart for athlete, so you're good. I went back in and jumped straight in and practiced the very next day. So it was like I never realized how much I really love basketball, especially when I hated it, until it got taken away from me for a bit. Because watching my teammates practice and having fun in practice, it did hurt like crazy. I would literally just sit there and tear up because I can't play, and it was crazy. So then I learned English pretty fast. I was able to graduate high school in time. Then ended up picking up another offer, another three offers from. I got interest from D1s and D2s, D3s. I could have went D2, but at the time I was a hard head kid. Like I really was like, if it's not D1, I'm not going anywhere. So I literally
Mhm.
passed up on so many opportunities because I didn't understand at the time that it's a blessing to make it at any level. So it's like it was as hard to make it to D2. Even D3 was hard to even get an offer. So it's like only at the time it was like I think it was when it was like 7% before the portal and everything. So it's like only 7% of athletes in high school could have make it. So it's like at every level. I just didn't. I mean, I was thinking like if I don't make a D1, it's a failure. It's like, oh, okay, nah, I'm not gonna do that. Then finally woke up in my senior year and ended up committing to a JUCO D1 and in Maryland. So that was when I spent my next 2 years in college. Previously was supposed to be one, but I had a lot of injuries in the beginning of my freshman year. So I had like a ankle sprain again, the same bad ankle that already was bothering me. So got back in the season, then I hurt my ACL and MCL. I was playing really good to start, and I started hearing buzz from Oregon and Baylor, and then also Wichita State University. I actually was everything was in line to actually be going to Wichita State, and then I get hurt. I got hurt, so that it kind of blew everything up. Hurt my ACL and MCL, and I had to go back to JUCO again for a whole another year after I was better. So that kind of slowed the things down for me. And then when I came back for my sophomore year, I barely my coach wasn't really confident in playing me because I was just coming back from an injury and I kept on getting hurt a lot. So it was like he didn't want me because I always play hard. So the way I play, I will get hurt. Some It's a matter of time because I'll be diving on the floor for my at 7 feet. I just I just like to like compete and be the best I can, do whatever it takes to help my team. So I don't care if I don't score. If I just gotta do the dirty work, I will do that. I'm pretty much okay with it. I take a lot of pride on defense, so it's like I'm always playing hard and very aggressive. So it's really a matter of time for me to get a hurt again. So my coach liked the way I play, but he wasn't sure if I was back to where I needed to be physically. So then I was barely playing as much. I was getting a little minutes here and there just to keep me healthy. And then when I started playing more around the same time of the year, I literally hurt the same knee again. So I really
Oh,
thought I was down for. It was crazy. I really thought I was down for because I was like, last year was a season ending. At least this year, I think it was just a miracle. It was my last year in JUCO. I had to get out of JUCO one way or another, and I didn't want to take. I mean, I didn't. I mean, if I had a possibility to take the medical red shirt, probably would have, but I didn't. I wasn't trying to spend 3 years in JUCO, so I was like, yeah. I just did whatever the trainer told me. I was able to bounce back and still come back during the same year. I had about a month, like I stayed off for a month and then I came back and it was the playoffs, out of shape. I had not played or practiced previous to the semifinals. And then I wasn't even expecting to play. I was like, yeah, coach is definitely not going to play me today. But I stayed ready. So when my name got called, I just went and did the work. So I ended up having like 7 boards and 5 points. And it was all over the place, diving on the floor, blocking shots, and getting boards like no one. And then I just felt like, I mean, it felt like my life depended on that game. So I had to find ways to, even though I was tired, out of shape, I had to find a way to keep pushing. I believe that God is fair and He always watches over His people. So I did my work, I prayed, and just let whatever He wanted for me to be down. And God blessed us with ended up winning like in my in my 2 years we ended up winning 4 titles. So I ended up making it to the national tournament. We were super excited about it. It was something the school had not done in the past like 6, 7 years. And then they only been to the finals like about I think 3 times prior to us. So we ended up going down in history, which was a blessing. And I got to be a piece to the major achievement to the school. So we ended up going to the nationals. We lost the first round, but no one really was sad. We made it. It was the goal. Like we never really thought I mean, we wanted to win if we could, but it was never like the goal. We wanted to win the conference, the state, and everything, and get to experience the national tournament. It happened, so we all were happy about it. But the hardest part was like I had really great teammates. We had a great chemistry, and not being able to play with those guys again and find a new system. So I was headed once again. I was headed to a different. I was talking to another D1 school. We had a great relationship for about 6 months. When things were supposed to make it happen, they ghosted me the very last minute. So I was like, damn, that's crazy. So then I had to make up a whole new plan, trying to figure out where I will be because I already had an idea where I was headed. And they ended up going with other guy coming on from the transfer portal. Didn't panic about it. I mean, I know gotta do stuff for a reason, so that wasn't in my path. So he probably was protecting me from something. It was in Utah, so yeah, I don't think I would want to be in Utah with all the Mormons and stuff. It's like I was and it's super hot out there, so I was like, yeah, maybe he was protecting me from something that I couldn't see at the time. And I ended up going D2 instead, got a full scholarship at Wilmington, so I committed. Thought it was a good decision at first, turned out it was not. So it was just a crazy situation. I don't even want to disclose it in here because I don't want to,
Of course.
yeah, get in unnecessary drama with these people. But I'll probably do it later on at some point in my content. So when I'm ready, I'll start talking more about that. It was just I went from playing a lot to barely even being used in the games than I could do a lot to help. So in my first year, I got in more games compared to my second one.
Hmm.
And I had major blocks, good, like for the minutes they was giving me, I was showing a lot, like hardworking, always being a great teammate. I don't matter if I'm not having, I mean, if I don't have the spotlight, I always would clap for my teammates, no matter how my situation is. Always try to be a coachable, respect everyone in the organization, and believe and wait on my time. But it just never came because things were just super weird and not fair in my school. So second year, debated between coming back or not. Still just did it because I was an international student for about 3 years. So I couldn't really just, I mean, I could leave, but it was like I had like about 60 days period to find a new team. If I didn't, I would have to leave the country and then come back when I find a country. So I couldn't really afford to do that because I didn't want to do all that. It's a long process. It takes a lot of paperwork, and it could have just been easier if I can just find a school as fast as possible. And I didn't want to deal with the stress of finding a new home again, readapting to a whole new coaching system, getting to know all, like starting the whole process over again after just a year. So ended up coming back thinking, let me spoke to the coaching staff. They made a bunch of promises, and I didn't really believe in nothing there, but I really just went back because I didn't want to deal with the stress. And I also had like a pending immigration process going, which I needed to be in school for all that to
Hmm.
go through. So I was like, okay, I'll just make it simple on myself and stay. Then I ended up getting my green card before the season started. That was when I actually could officially start doing NIL. And I would say that was pretty much the highlight of my year this past season. Because I mean, I wasn't able to participate in the past 3 years, but I just kept educating myself, learning how everything works. So by the time I was able to finally start engaging in it, I just went in and haven't stopped ever since. Just being, God bless. I was able to get an internship with Market Price, all because of how I was working hard with NIL pitchings and stuff like that, pitching myself to brands. And I got selected. Like, I mean, he selected at first 200 people, and then out of 200 people, only 10 were actually getting the internship. And I ended
Hmm.
up making the final cut. Was able to learn a lot from both sides as an athlete and also a business working with brands. Then got to be an athlete con and meet all these amazing people. So it's been like a blessing, I would say, like being around a lot of like-minded people. And always, I mean, doing content is hard.
Oh
When the
yeah.
numbers are not there where you want it to be, you can easily just give up. But it's like the more I start learning and surrounding myself with other creators, like it's been something really motivating to like, oh, I really don't even don't look at the views, just keep doing the work. You might be inspiring someone, you never know. So I was like, okay, I started looking at this in a different way. Initially, I used to create content pretty much for myself, but now when I'm creating content, I'm looking for every other athlete that have been overlooked in any some way, or even people as well, anyone that don't do sport, because everyone can be overlooked at every different stage of their life. So now that's like pretty much my new targeted audience. So I try to talk to people that come from the same background as me, because I mean, I can if I can't do anything to help someone, maybe realize that, hey, you might be overlooked, but it doesn't mean that it's impossible. You can still do it. You can really make your dreams come true if you believe in it. You don't need no one else believing it. You have to be able to see the vision, trust God first of all, and just put the work in, and anything can happen for real. And just show kids that come from smaller backgrounds that it's really not about where you come from. You can really do whatever you put your mind into. And if you believe in God and work hard, anything is possible. Nothing is impossible for God. So that have been like, I felt like when I found that purpose, it has been a lot easier for me to create content. and stay consistent with it, because now I'm not just doing it for myself. I'm doing it to help and inspire other kids as well doing sports, or whoever might be watching my content for real. And right now, working on signing my first rookie professional contract. I don't know where I will be yet, but hey, I believe in God. He's doing his work in the background, also doing mine in the court, and we'll see where I will be ending up next.
Hey, let him know, cause won't he do it? Yes, he will.
Oh yeah.
But this leads to my question. Like,
Hmm.
and there's two parts to it. First question is, you got a chance to be part of AthleteCon 3.0 in
Hmm.
Vegas. Hello. Like, first of all, shout out to Sam Green
Oh
for
yeah.
AthleteCon. Cause
Shout out to Sam for sure.
so for you, what was that like to be part of AthleteCon 3.0?
It was major. I remember like I used to see Aklikon style like posts, and I seen the 2.0, and I kept trying to understand what it was. And yeah, didn't even know much about it. I was like from the first time. And then when I spoke to Hiram, it's like, yeah, he explained everything they do. And I was like, man, I have to be there next year, like by any means. So it was I would say it was definitely a very unique experience. I don't think anyone is doing that, bringing athletes and brands together in the same place, including like the big platforms like Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok, and listening to the people that basically getting inside info from the very experts on the top of the game, and getting to know exactly what you need to do to succeed as an athlete. And doing that for free is insane. It's like I don't think anyone else is doing that. Like it was major get to connect with brands and walk up to them and just interact with these people like they just regular people like us, and there were a lot of cool people that yeah, it was really different situation. So I'll say it was a blessing for you, because coming in, like, I love to network, so I was having fun. So it's like I think I spoke to every athlete, every brand, probably everyone that was in there, because I like to surround myself with winners, people that have the same mindset as myself, and there were a lot of people looking for being better in whatever they're doing, whether it was content, being a brand owner, a business. So outside, it was really fun. Like I have never experienced anything like it, and I wish it lasted more days than 3 days, because it was too good to be over in just 3 days.
I will say is I would say from my experience, like I was telling you earlier, from my experience, it's a game changer. It's a life changing, especially
Sure.
like the first time I went there, like I was, it was my podcast. I did it. I was representing my podcast, and then like, hey, just bring people, athletes, and then just and expanded like to 2.0. And I'm like, I would definitely got to come back and more people. Like, it gives you so much. Like, I always like say. I always want to tell like college athletes that like say that come on here, or even college athletes that meet, like, look, if you really want to get into NIL in the content wise and like how you can build your own like connection and networking and everything, you need to check out AthleteCon because just like you said, you network with so many people, like you form so many bonds and friendships from that's outside of your sport,
True.
and you end up like having group chats and everything, and some people be like going to say like to different events, and it's like, hey, we just saw each other at AthleteCon, was
True.
good. So, but
Hmm.
and yeah, so but I love the content that you did with Winter. It was so amazing. I was like, oh
Oh
my
yeah.
gosh.
Thank you.
Shout out to Winter.
Shout out to Winter for sure.
So you mentioned about you got, you finally was able to participate in NIL. And
Mhm.
during before then, a lot of people didn't know about that international, and correct me if I'm wrong, international students who played in college sports were not able to participate in
Mhm.
NIL type of deals due to a specific visa. So can you kind of break down like what was that process like to when you finally heard the news that you finally can get the chance to be able
Hmm.
to doing NILs and everything?
Oh yeah, it's definitely a very tricky process because in order for you to be able to participate in NIL, I mean, international students, to my understanding, to this day, they're still not allowed to. They can't engage in NIL unless you get change your visa status, and that only happens for very, let's say, a kid coming in from like they doing now, like the people that play professional in Europe coming in to the biggest D1 schools. So they already have a massive athletic accomplishments they did overseas and internationally if they participated in Olympics or World Cups and stuff like that. So if you're someone that had major participation in those things, you do qualify for the a special visa that they usually give to professional players. Even though you're in college, you qualify for that because you're extraordinary. So but not everyone can get it. It's really hard to get those. So it's like for me, it was really like I would say it was a blessing. I happened to the Department of State every year they usually organize like a green card lottery for different backgrounds and increase the diversity of different communities over here because there's not a many people from my community in a lot of different countries as well. So it's basically a lottery open to the whole planet. So anyone except the countries that are not allowed to participate anymore due to higher immigrations over here already, like Mexico is not allowed to participate in it. There's a lot of Mexicans here already. So then they usually look for smaller backgrounds. So people from Portugal, people from countries like Colombia, Angola, or any other like a majority African countries and a lot of European countries as well, Caribbean, a few countries, not really all of them. So you get a chance to basically try your luck, and if you happen to win it, you get selected to move forward with your process to get a green card. Is I would say it's definitely the hardest way to get your papers because you don't know if you're gonna win it or not. You just trying, betting on yourself and hope you win it. So I did try it the first time. I did not get selected. It was so disappointing. Then the second year, I didn't even want to try it again. But my family and my uncle really convinced me to try it. And this time, I happened to win it. So just for us to have like a little idea with numbers, was like it's about the year I happened to win it. It was about like they had about 22 million applicants from all over the globe. So I ended up being selected one of the 22 millions. And then they only select like about 1,010, yeah, 110,000 people out of the millions. And then after that, only 55,000 people actually do get a green card. So yeah, there is 45,000 that actually, even though they got selected, they don't win it. They don't because they only have 55,000 green cards available. So they select the more people because some people do give up in the process. Some people might not be the best fit because they're looking for high quality workers, human beings, people with skills that they believe in that can help the country at some point. So usually a lot of young people as well, or doctors. And so I just happened to be selected in one of those people. So was a major blessing. Definitely was not an easy process. And yeah, I understand how it is to be international athlete. I still get reach out to like because now I mentor. I started my own mentorship for NIL, and just sometimes I really have to turn down certain international because it's like it's hard. And I understand I used to be one of them. There's not really much they can do in the states, but if they're in their home country, they can do NIL back when they're back home,
Hmm.
especially kids that live in Europe. They can. You just have to like know how to sell yourself to brands, and because they have European brands over there, they just can never actively do anything here. And they can engage in it somehow, but it's definitely not the best way to make money if that's your goal. Usually they say they can do merch. Since it's passive income, they're not actively doing any work for it. they
Yeah.
qualify for that, but Mesh don't really be bringing in that much money unless you're really a big profile name. So yeah, I mean the only way to work around it is basically just go back home and do it in your home country over the summer break, pretty much. During the season, I don't. It's not really something they can do. So it's
Yeah.
very sad and complicated.
I used, I used to hear it is crazy because I used to hear where like say like I remember hearing about this when, say, Aaliyah Edwards, who used to play college basketball for UConn,
Hmm.
she's Canadian. She could not do anything that dealt with NIL, even though she had merch.
Yeah,
Only her teammates can push the
could have
merch for.
promoted. Yes.
Yes,
Hmm.
they could promote it for her, but she could not promote it herself, even though she
Hmm.
was one of the big names for UConn at the time.
True.
But so it's like all these international players that have maybe a huge following, and that could be that are say could be marketable for say certain companies aren't
Hmm.
able to do it because of how they are, you know, what is programmed for them. So,
Hmm.
and it's like I look at it as like, dang, like I wish like, and I wish like some of these American say college athletes who say, oh, I don't know how to do this, or they don't take content seriously. It's like you guys are lucky how like y'all get to do it when there's like international college athletes that aren't able to do it and they would love to
True.
do it.
Yeah.
So it's like y'all got to look at it as a blessing. Like
True.
y'all can do it, but there, I'm just like so. But
Yeah, I
this,
would definitely advise them to still post content, even though you cannot monetize, because once you leave the stage, you can make money with it anywhere else you go to. So it's like, don't take that as a no. I mean, it might be a not yet for NIL and monetizing it, but you can still use the platform where you are to build your brand and get bigger audience. Definitely continue to post content because you don't play, you're not staying in college forever. You have to go at some point. So you will get can either become a pro or use that platform for whatever is next in your life. So you can still be a content creator just without the money yet. So yeah.
absolutely.
Hmm.
And this leads to my question. So I definitely see you as an advocate for women's sports because I was like, hey, you watched Winter's episode. I was like, I'm here for this and you. So, but what inspired you to advocate for women's sports?
um, I mean, I think women's work as hard as men do in sports, if not as harder, because you guys always have to prove yourselves. And then I also come from a home where I got three sisters and a mom. I respect women, and my sisters are also athletes, so I see the work that it goes behind the scenes and how much women's sport needs to be valued. Because it's like at the end of the day, we're all trying to basically we're all competing, and I feel like they should get the same respect men be getting in sports. And yeah, I think they especially I was super happy when the WNBA finally raised like their contracts to a couple millions at least, because they were barely getting paid anything and there were kids in the G League making more, which was insane. And I felt like that was just not it's just not fair, because that's literally why they were losing a lot of pros to overseas sports, because overseas they would see the value, they would have paid them way more than in the WNBA. Like I knew a player that played for UNC Charlotte, and that she lives overseas. She's never been back. Like ever since she signed overseas, she did go to the WNBA for a couple of years. Once she left, she never came back because she just was living better life overseas as a basketball player. And I feel like we could definitely do a better job valuing like women's in sports. They work as hard as we do, especially in college. They do wake up early in the morning to put the work in. They lift as hard as we do. They go through conditioning just the same way we do. And they do a lot of great stuff in the sports too. Like women's are in basketball specifically, they're like one of the best 3-point shooters. It takes a lot of work to even be able to shoot like that. So it's like it's a lot of work we put in as athletes in general. So it's like there should be some sort of equal respect in that. Sure.
Right. Absolutely. I will say they overseas do pay the women's basketball a lot more, way more. That's why I
Yes.
say that's why I like say when it comes to the say WNBA players, some
Hmm.
WNBA players say they get waived, so they have
They had
they go.
overseas quick.
Yes, they'll go overseas quick. And then
Hmm.
also sometimes like when WNBA season is over,
They
they
go
can get a chance
overseas.
to go overseas.
Hmm.
And yes, they do go overseas. They, they get the money paid more and, but also with also nowadays and with the rise of like the 3-on-3 league was unrivaled and like the latest women's league, Upshot League, which is has some players that played in the WNBA that played overseas that are competing in there, and it's like there needs to be more some type of exposure, more respect, of course, but
True.
also the pay. Like the pay would be better. But nowadays, these days, a lot of the women hoopers are, I remember hearing like they're not in a rush to go to the WNBA now. Like with NIL, it's like we'll
Oh
just
yeah.
take our time. We'll take our time.
True.
We'll make our millions and get our deals and be set for life. And then if
True.
we do go, we'll go. So
Yeah.
it's like it makes perfect sense. So
True. Couldn't be mad at that.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad either. I mean, and this leads to my question, is I always say that athletes are humans first.
Yes.
And for you, as a black man and an athlete, how important is mental health to you?
Mental health is super important, especially for athletes. A lot of us, especially men, are told to be tough. And I mean, I think the greatest strength is being able to realize you need help, especially mentally, and seek help for whoever that might be in your support system that listens to you. If you have to go to the therapist, go. There's nothing wrong with doing that. In the end, it helps. I dealt with it personally a lot, coming from a household where, like, where I was born, mental health was a joke. It's like, you got mental health? Are you kidding me? It's like, you're a man, this and that, toughen up. And it's like, yeah, I grew up thinking that. And then I hit rock bottom and understand, like, why I'm doing all this, caring so much when I have people that probably could have helped me if I open up and speak up. So, mental health is crucial. It's like you don't have to do everything alone. And also, I would say lean on God heavy because it's like if you be in the script, you will know like God calls us to not be worrying too much and trust the process and whatever He's doing is the best plan for your life. Also, being able to understand and be patient in the Lord makes a huge difference because I see a lot of young people trying to do it all, carry themselves, make plans and thinking like work with God. Like He's not your enemy. He's there to help you. But if you try to go against His ways, then you get more struggles. So just be patient, wait on His time, keep working, have people that you trust in your network that you can go talk to. Be selective about who you open up to though. I'm not saying just open up to anyone because you have to be able to identify who is good for you in your circle. So it's like we would I mean we always have someone that we can open up to, a person that can be your safe place. It could be your mother, your girlfriend, dads. I'm not sure. Dads really don't. Yeah, it depends on the dads though. I'm not sure. My dad, I would not open up to my dad growing up. So even now, I don't think I would because it's just different. He don't really believe in mental health like that. So I was like, but there is always someone that is there to hear. It could have been a pastor. They're always gonna
Mhm.
give you a great advice and a godly advice that will make you feel a lot better. And don't try to be tough. Like, if anything, if you think not speaking up about mental health is being tough, that's like being dumb and childish. It takes a lot of strength for you to get off what you got in your chest. That's a real toughness. So being tough is being able to recognize that you need help and speak up. Don't suffer in silence because in the end of the day, you're just hurting yourself. You're not doing nothing positive for yourself.
That's real right there. And, because I always, for men, like, there's that stigma that they they show emotions that they're weak, but
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know if anybody's big in their faith or read the Bible, but it literally says Jesus wept. The strongest man alive who,
True.
sacrificed
Mm-hmm.
himself literally wept. If the
Yeah.
strongest man alive literally wept, it's like it's okay to just be able to be vulnerable because, you
Yeah.
know, we're supposed to be able to, you know, cry or but like you said, you gotta be careful who you open up to because that's when the
Yes.
discernment be kicking in. That's when like,
Mm-hmm.
because some people will I will some people will like try to weaponize what you
Mm-hmm.
confide in and then say, I'm like, I told you this for a reason in secrets
Mm-hmm.
and like because I trusted you. I didn't tell
Yeah.
you so you could use this against me. So it's like,
Correct.
and speaking of which, you're very big in your faith. You mentioned it. How do you balance your faith and basketball simultaneously?
It comes easy. Before anything, God always will come first for me, no matter how much I love the sport. And I mean, I believe in His. I mean, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean to your own understanding. So that verse is really big for me. So I believe that no matter what I do, there's always gonna be God in it, and He's always the center of everything I do. So it's been. I mean, I would say just create a routine that works for you. Be disciplined about it, and definitely spend time with God. That's usually what I do when I like in my mornings. Always like it don't matter if it can be like just 2 minutes of you saying a prayer or read a scripture or something. Like try to do something that I feel like it's been like the perfect balance for me when I included God in everything I do more than when I was trying to do everything on my own. Coming into college, I really had no. It was hard to balance it all, like basketball, school, and personal life. So it was really hard at first until I finally just learned how to balance everything that I was managing daily. So it's been a lot easier, especially I would say it got easier when I really added God part into it. I was born in a Christian house, but with a lot of stuff that was happening to me growing up in sports and in life, it was I kind of got away from God a little bit. I still believe, but I just wasn't like I felt like he was not being fair with me. So then once I fully brought him back to my life and let him take control of my decisions and how I plan my things, it's just been a lot easier because I don't be stressing. It's like no matter how much I'm going through, I've learned to don't be thinking like don't try too hard, like don't force things and especially things that you have control. You shouldn't be stressing about things outside of your control because if it's in God's plan, it's gonna follow through. If it doesn't, it's also okay. He knows when the best timing is coming. So I would say definitely having God as a foundation is a major piece of my balance in everything I do in life because it just like he says, like everything we do in life needs a balance. So like can't do too much of basketball and no life or no God, spending time with God. So I always try to balance it all in a way that I'm not losing myself with burnouts, mental health issues, and stuff like that. So it's definitely not easy. Also, like outside of your sports, I would say find a hobby, something that you love to do to get away a little bit, because they do help a lot for stress and mental health as well. Hang out with people, especially when you're on campus. There's so many other sports. Regular students like socialize with people, be human, and enjoy the experience because we're not gonna be in college forever. And overall, like big on the networking part with everyone because you never know what life will bring up at some point. You might think you want to play, but you never know. Like your next job could maybe come from someone you met in school at some point in your career. So it's like be good with everyone, treat people kindly, and just keep a good like balance. Like everything needs a balance. Like we do have to work hard, but working hard doesn't mean that you just always keep punting on yourself so much that you really don't know how to rest, chill, and spend your time wisely off the court. Oh yeah. So I
That
always try to do a little bit of everything but with good balance. So
Absolutely. Let me get my little shakers for that, because man, these are my like mini substitutions for my tambourine, because I have my
Mhm.
tambourine, but they came with my tambourines. But oh, so true. But this leads to my question: if there was a word or phrase or even a scripture to describe your journey so far, what would it be?
I would say, oh my goodness, this is one of my favorite verses. I think it's Isaiah 4:12. Is the Bible verse that says that trust in God's timing. Wait, let me open my Bible because I this is one of my
Hey,
favorite scripts. I literally just said it like 3 times 3 weeks ago, and I just was talking with someone about it, but I remember it. It was something like, oh, I'm sorry, I remember. I think when the time is right, I the Lord will make it happen. So why is that? I've always have to deal with a bunch of I've been overlooked in so many different ways in my life, basketball, school, life in general, and trusting God something is a big thing. And that was also how I was able to find peace with myself, stay resilient because no matter whatever happens, I know that better days are coming. So I'll say I definitely live by this verse. And also, I mean, I have so many, but you asked one, so I would say that
hey,
one
you could
would
say
be
multiple
yeah.
ones. You could say multiple ones.
Yeah, the other one would be Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That usually motivates me to not be to be fearless because it's like God is with me and I'm working hard and believe that He's in my favor, so I can really do whatever I put my mind into. And those usually are the verses that I would identify with. Is a lot relatable to my current situation, where I'm going, and the mindset that I live by, pretty much.
You mentioned when I heard you say, "When I, the Lord, said the time is right," I
Mhm.
was like, "Oh, that's Isaiah 60:22."
Yeah.
I was like, "That's Isaiah 60:22." I was like, "I know which
Yeah.
one he was talking about."
It's like,
And then Philippians 4:13. I already got it tattooed on it. I was like, that was my
oh yeah.
favorite scripture growing up and
Mhm.
still is. But I know I used to hear people say, like all these athletes that they're big on their faith. Watch, I bet you money 9 times out of 10 they have Philippians 14 in
Philippians
their bio.
4:13. True.
I'm like, don't you dare call us out. We don't just know. We don't only know for Philippians 4:13.
Sure.
If you want to get into, we know about Jeremiah 29:11.
Oh yeah.
For I know the plans that God has for us, for
True.
to prosper and not
Mhm.
to harm. I know that people talk about Proverbs 3:5 through 6, where it's trust in the Lord with
With
all
all
your
your
heart.
heart,
And
do not lean. Yeah, that's a big one. I also love that verse. I really live by that too. It gets back to trusting his timing and not trying to take control over the wheel. When he's the driver, you're just a passenger in the driver. So learning to be in that passenger position and let God fully drives you can really take you far. I used to be trying to control my future and do everything has to happen this way. I'm gonna go the one because I want to, and it's like God humbled me in so many ways. Like, okay, you don't want to learn. Well, I guess you're gonna have to learn the hard way. So it's like He had to bring me to isolation to fully have me realize that okay, this is actually what you want me to do. This is where you're taking me. This is what I needed to learn. Because coming out of high school, I mean, like every athlete, I had a lot of egos. So it's like He humbled me when I came to college. I was like, oh shoot, these things aren't sweet over here. There is dogs at every level. So I was thinking going to JUCO was like a major like a failure or something. I got there, I woke up quick. I was like, yeah, there is levels to every level. So it's like I felt like it was definitely harder to play in JUCO than it is to play in NCAA though. People might think I'm crazy to say that. There's more you don't play in JUCOs for 4 years, you play there for two. So everyone is as hungry as you are. Everyone is competing for the same scholarship. So you have to prove yourself more. to make it to the next level where, and you don't have luxuries as well. The facilities in most of the places are not the best. Some schools have no athletic trainers. You literally gonna be so hard and have to come back tomorrow and do that again and again and again and again for 2 years straight. So it was definitely not an easy path, but I think I would say if I had to do it again, I would. So I had fun. It was great, and I love working hard. So it was a blessing get to meet a lot of great people that I met along the way in my journey, and I've seen a lot of people quit like in about, let's say, 3 days of training. It's really hard. It's not easy, especially during the conditioning phase in JUCO. It gets really hard, and it takes a lot. Working on your own is not gonna get you there. You have to really be leaning on the Lord, because there's day you would wake up and you don't know. There were people that didn't know where their next meal when their next meal would be. So like I've seen people come and practice on an empty stomach and still not know what they're gonna eat after. So it's like it's insane. If you think that you can do everything on your own without leaning on people, you're wrong. You need people around you. So it's like you need God, and you need to have people that, like a friendship circle where everyone is thinking alike and working hard towards something, and a place where you can vent to each other, because it really goes a long way. College is not easy, let alone being a college athlete. So it's like, yeah, it's a battle. It's a mental battle every day. So it's like you gotta be able to really lean on God as much as you can, for sure.
The fact that you took the question I was gonna ask, which was the what's the misconceptions of JUCO, and you actually answered it, because I literally was gonna ask you what's the misconception in JUCO, and you clearly answered it. I was like, I don't got the. He answered the question I was gonna ask him before, and I was like, you know what? He It's gonna be a clip, bet, because I need people to understand that JUCO people, like JUCO, are they like you said, they get it out the mud. Like
True.
you had like when I was growing up, JUCO, it was 2 years, and then when you moved to a different college, you only had 2 years
2 years.
eligibility,
Mm-hmm.
3 years. But now these days, JUCO, you could take all the time you want. JUCO, you play JUCO 2 years, you still have eligibility left. There's no but
Mm-hmm.
and like they play against top dogs. Some of
Top
like say
dogs.
your
True.
favorite. I mean, I'll give an example. Derek White that plays for the Celtics came from JUCO, came from D
Jimmy
two,
Butler
and
came from JUCO. Yeah.
I mean all of them like
Mm-hmm.
in the top league for the NBA. But
Mm-hmm.
but so Fidel, this is where I ask the people, because people. This is where I ask all the where how they can find you, support you. So Fidel, can you let the folks know how where they can support you, find you, and any upcoming happenings your way?
Oh yeah, Hollywood Dell across all platforms. And I mean, I would say the next big thing coming is me announcing my commitment to pro sports. So I'm not sure when that will be yet, but stay tuned.
Y'all listen. Y'all make sure to follow Fidel Mpanzo at Hollywood Dale. Is it dot 34?
Yes.
Oh yes, I
Ah,
can't
you
wait.
did it. Let's go.
Hollywood. First of all, follow Fidel Mpanzo at HollywoodDale.34. You can find all his content, amazing content with NIL, because I bet I'm telling y'all, it is lit. Y'all be sure to follow him and be on the upcoming lookout for him for the upcoming season. And big shout out to Fidel for coming on the podcast, for sharing your story. Big shout out to everybody that tuned in for Bonafide Her podcast, episode 242. You can check out the live replay of Bonafide Her podcast, episode 242 after this. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Oh yeah.
Peace.